Hey everybody, Christina Wolf here for our weekly card pull party and the energy update. I am just writing down some notes that came to me, and I wanted to tell you a story about last night. I'm writing it down before I forget it because Spirit gives me messages, I get them, and then they go in and out. So I like my welcome if you're just coming on. Let me know how you've been this week and what's on your mind. If you got any questions, concerns, comments, welcome. Let me know how you're doing. Give me some like or love buttons, whatever you want to do. So, I'm going to wait a few more seconds to see a few more people pop on. And it's a beautiful sunny day here in South Texas. And I had a really amazing interview that I did. Hey, Bridget. Lovely to have you again. This week was intense with all the, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain suicides, and then, people posting, and then me posting about it. And we've got some intense energy of, I don't want to misquote, but I know Mars has something to do with it. And Kaipacha put out his Paley report this week, and he was talking about how, hey, Deb, welcome. Glad you could be here. If you're just popping on, introduce yourself, say hi, let me know how you're doing, give me some hearts or something, let me know you're here. Kaipacha has his weekly Paley report, and he always, he was mentioning how it's going to be kind of an intense week. And I think I was feeling it already ahead of time, where Mars has that really like penetrating masculine energy, and it's going to be this week, and it's really kind of like, for lack of a better term, like the toxic masculine, wanting to go out and take and conquer, and the feminine energy is just like, ugh, get away from me. And Pele or Tom Lesher, as he goes by in the Paley report, he talks about this far more eloquently than I am. And in fact, I'll put the link in the comments here, because I think he's just amazing at explaining all this stuff, like the energy. See, the astrology is just all about cycles of energy, and it's not as woo-woo as it sounds. It's really just the effects of all the planets, the energy that they give us, and the way I love Pele anyway, because he's a master astrologer, and the way he talks about stuff is like really easy to digest. And most of the time, if you're like me, you're feeling this energy already, and it's kind of like, oh, that explains why. That's why I'm feeling that. And he was talking about this very thing about being completely emotional, and it having a lot to do with Mars and Neptune and a bunch of other aspects coming together. So, but I wanted to talk about that very thing of, hello, Jessica, welcome, glad to have you. If you're just coming on, also say hi, give me some hearts, tell me how you're doing. There was this idea that, a lot of us who had, been affected by the Kate Spade thing, her suicide, and then like a day later piled on with Anthony Bourdain, and it got me thinking, like, what happens is we are in such a fast-paced world that we don't process how we're feeling about stuff. And then it becomes like a cumulative stress. And so I always talk about self-supporting or anchoring activities when we're really feeling like heavy stress or intense feelings or emotion, especially during like, you know, these planetary aspects that are like interfering with what we're doing, you know, or I don't want to say interfering, but like affecting and influencing what's going on in our regular lives. It's really good to practice these anchoring daily practices. You know, it's like energetic hygiene, you know, like brushing your teeth every day. You know, if you don't brush your teeth every day, you're gonna end up feeling like your teeth aren't taken care of. That's your energetic body. You've got this energetic body of like stress in and stress out. And then for those of us who have some kind of trauma response, and all of us do, it's just how we're managing it, frankly, that causes the issue. We're automatically kind of like, if we look at our bucket, our daily bucket as being our energetic vessel, we're already here on the stress level because, you know, our trauma response already adds stress, internal stress, before we've even started our day. Before, you know, as we're getting up, we have stress in the body. And it's, if you want to get real technical, it's the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. Just a real fancy way of saying your brain talks to your pituitary gland and then talks to your adrenals, and it's just basically the fight or flight aspect or mechanism in your body. Some people, you know, in the interview that I did this morning with Sama Morningstar for my upcoming interview series, she and I were talking about this and how you can come out of the womb bathed in that stress energy, that trauma energy of, you know, whatever's going on in your mother's world. You know, and what I found even more mind-blowing was when your mother was in your grandmother's womb at about 4 months of age, you know, in uterus, like 16 weeks gestation, a female baby, you know, fetus will start developing eggs in the womb. So there you are. You see, like, you are inheriting all of the stress and the generational trauma and the epigenetics of your family history in the womb, you know? And so some people come out of the womb already in this fight or flight response. And so you automatically begin your day starting out at this higher threshold of stress and trauma in your body. And so you'll have to take some steps to work on getting it out of your body. And, you know, it might be annoying, like, oh my God, why do I have to, it's so much time and effort. But it really, this is self-supporting. This is how you help yourself feel better, because frankly, some of us don't even know what feeling good feels like. You have to work at it. You have to work at the feeling good. You have to work at allowing yourself to raise your vibration, to drop the heavy weight of what you're holding on to in your body. So anyway, I wanted to just reiterate what me and Sama Morningstar were talking about, and she's excellent. She's a somatic yoga instructor and a womb healer, and I'm really looking forward to everyone hearing our interview, because she really helped me understand this concept of connecting from, you know, most of us are all up here in our head, and this is where reason and thought are, in our heads, you know, in our frontal lobe. But all of the feeling places, all of the intuitive feminine nature places of our brain, the other 98%, is back here, right? And most of us are very disconnected from our body. We're all up in our head. We're all up in a reasonable thought. We're not feeling things. We're not giving credence to feelings and thoughts. And it's that disconnect, I think, that now that we're calling for and asking for the divine feminine to come out, you know, it's it's that disconnect that people are talking about when, you know, people like Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain are committing suicide, because they're feeling that disconnect from the other 98%, the disconnect that we're all having from each other because of the disconnect with ourselves. And just being able to have these conversations, you know, I'm just really grateful for this group and you guys. And it's going to be an intense week. So anytime we have like a lot of grief in our collective unconscious, us sensitives and empaths, we're going to pick it up. We're going to absorb it. We're going to be like sponges of other people's energy, and take some steps to really work out that energy. Don't let it get built up in you and never go anywhere, because then you're going to be full of that which you don't want, and you're going to start getting this sensation of not enough because you're filled up with what you don't want, and then there's like this little space left for what you do want, and then you're going to start feeling, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough fill in the blank, whatever. And we fear letting go and making space for that which we want. But that making space is actually a very feminine, intuitive thought process or feeling process, allowing your energetic vessel to empty out and make space. Like, what is a womb? It's space for creation, right? What a feminine quality, right? Creating space for creation, holding space. And sometimes holding space for another to work out their process, right? To be a sounding board, to let them feel all their feelings, and process just things that maybe I'm a think out loud kind of person. So sometimes to let somebody else think out loud in your presence and not try to fix it, not try to heal it, not try to do anything other than to let them process it. I think that's what does a world of good. So that said, I'm going to start our weekly card pull party. And if you want a card, let me know. If you like animal card or an herbal card. And for some reason, oh, this is the other thing I wanted to mention. Archangel Michael, he's one of my spirit helpers. He's always there for me. And I wanted to tell you, like when I was on patrol and I worked on third shift, I would always see his royal blue purple aura everywhere, like especially on the road around cars and vehicles. And last night I was driving and I just immediately saw like this big purple blue orb, start, kind of surrounding my vehicle and the vehicles ahead of me. And then out of the blue, what a funny, ironic word, out of the blue, these two police officers go the other direction on the highway. And then I saw an ambulance. So obviously there was probably a crash or something going on the highway. But it was just a reminder that, like, that protective energy, like, that's what Michael's there for. He's there to respond in an emergency. He's there to respond when you're feeling like in a crisis. And I think that's why I have such a big affinity for him. When you're in a trauma response, like, he's there to pull you out of the darkness into the light. And this is why he is the energy around emergency services workers, police, military, firefighters. It's that same crisis sort of response energy. And so if you're feeling that energy this week, really use Michael as a tool. So I felt really called to use my Archangel Michael deck today. And I wanted to pull a message from him first, and then I'll do my herbal card deck, okay? Because I feel like he's wanting us to know he's a resource and to use him. And I'm going to write down what everybody wanted for a card as well. So Bridget wants an animal card. Karen, you said any card. I'm going to go with an herbal tarot. Jessica wants an herb card. And then Shayna, which kind of card would you like? Or should I pick? Let me know. And as I am shuffling this deck, let's call in some sacred space. So let's call in the winds of the east. Thank you to Brother Eagle for giving us the bird's eye view, for being from the void, the place of all creation, the dark womb of the universe, basically the beginning, the alpha, and the omega, where we all wind up. And we thank you for the springtime of our life, for being in that germinative state, the beginning of new possibilities. We thank you, thank you, thank you for the highest view, Brother Eagle, Condor, for watching over us. Thank you so much. Let's call in the winds of the south. Brother Snake, the summer of our lifetime. This is where we learn how to travel humbly with the earth, beautiful earth energy, and to remember to be in the here and the now, to let go of old things, to be in the prime of our life, allow ourselves to come into full bloom. And we thank Brother Snake for showing us how to do this gracefully, how to let go of that which no longer serves us. We thank you, thank you, thank you for that grounding earth energy. And to the winds of the west, my spirit animal, Brother Jaguar, you are so strong to help us through the darkest night of the soul and to harvest the lessons in the fall of our lifetime. This is water energy. This is emotional knowing. This is the weight and the fluidness of our emotions and intuitive nature. Thank you for your impeccability, for showing us the way of integrity and walking our talk. We thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And to the winds of the north, to the spirit of elk, spirit of caribou, spirit of hummingbird, spirits of endurance and lightness of being, the ability to, after all we've been through, still know where we've come from. This is the place of our ancestors, and the place where it's the winter of our lifetime, where we kind of look back and review our life and use beautiful air energy to help us blow inspiration into our daily lives. So we thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And then to Mother Earth, as we sit here, I am just so awed that you support us as we sit on you and we live on you, and you've held us in your womb for so long and given us life and all of our beautiful flora and fauna and, you know, four-legged and winged creatures and Slytherins, and we thank you so much for supporting our life as we know it. And we're so grateful to you for your generosity, for your nurturing and your grounding ability. Thank you for holding us in your space. And to Father Sky, Great Spirit, the great creator, the mysteries of the universe and our star nations, that which we don't even know about, the infinite possibilities of the universe. Thank you so much for your benevolence, for watching over us, for, just like I said, infinite possibilities. Thank you so much. And to Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun and all the planets for reminding us of the cycles of life, and the energy of the universe is always ever changing. And thank you for allowing us to mimic you and your ability to move through that change and know thyself. And as always, to our spirit helpers, our power animals, to our archangels, and in particular, Archangel Michael and his God's army, we thank you. And the Ascended Masters, Jesus, Mary, Buddha. For me, Spirit of Wolf, Spirit of Jaguar, Spirit of Owl has been there for me lately. So whoever's there for you. And the Old Wise Woman, as always, there to help us all. The Old Wise Woman in all of us. So I'm going to cut the deck here. Michael wants us to know something. He's been talking to me. So this week, when we have like really crazy energy, Michael wants us to explore your options. He says, "Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me see, understand, and assess all of my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and life's purpose." So just know what this tells me is there's no right or wrong way, okay? I always had this understanding that, you know, and the thing I love about shamanism is there's no right or wrong way to interpret it. It's self-revelation, and that's what I love about it. And so whatever you're going through this week, there's no right or wrong way. It's your way, okay? That's the only way you have is your way. And so if you're going through something and it means something to you that didn't mean something to somebody else, that's perfectly fine. But explore your options, which means that maybe you've been going through, you know, certain therapy or coaching or whatever, and it's not working for you. Try something new. Get out there, move your body. If moving your body is not working, get out there and try some sound therapy. Look around. There's tons of ways to support yourself and help yourself through, you know, this process. And why are we doing all this anyway? We're doing this to reach this higher level of consciousness, right? So that we're raising our own vibration, and we're raising the vibration of the planet one person at a time. So we're at a stage in our life, and I think Kaipacha talks about this in his Pele report, and I will put that down in the comment section here. Kaipacha talks about this, that our planet now, because we're entering into the new paradigm, we are able to understand all this. We're able to have these discussions about why are we so disconnected from each other. We're able to have these discussions about self-revelation. It used to be in the past that we created this organized religion, and I'm not against organized religion at all, but we created this organized religion because it created a way and ritual for people to connect to the divine. And now we're calling for a way for people to connect directly with the divine. That's direct revelation. Sandra Ingerman talks about this too in her video on Shamanic Journey. I think I posted it last week. And so explore your options. I think Michael wants us to know that. There is no right way. There's only your way, okay? So, Shayna, I got it. You wanted the herbal tarot. Okay, perfect. So that's good to know. And one other thing. You are the best and wisest person for yourself. You don't need anyone else to tell you anything. So allow yourself to be the person to give you the wisdom that you need. I'm going to expand on that one little bit. Explore your options. I'm going to see what else this little booklet has to say about that. It says you worked hard to make your current circumstances palatable or palatable, and now it's time to look at alternatives. Your coping and adaptation skills are admirable. However, Archangel Michael reminds you that it's important to be honest and authentic with yourself at all times. You don't need to compromise in any way, for Michael assures you that your needs will be met in gentle and loving ways. And I want to remind you, this interview that's coming up that I did with Sama, Morningstar, a very gentle and loving way that you can come back into the here and now when you're in this dissociative place, if you've gone off in a bad memory or you're triggered or whatever. Breathing. Because breathing is one of the few things that we can control, right? We can't really control how fast our heartbeat goes. We can't control our digestion on a conscious level, right? But by controlling our breathing, we can control our heartbeat. And sometimes taking a deep breath before something's going on, that helps us to, in a very gentle way, get rid of any kind of negativity, unhook us from a bad traumatic thought, come back to the here and now. So it doesn't have to be really hard, complex, involved processes. Just breathe. So let's take a collective breath. So I like that energy, that space, and in that space, a calm space of nourishing myself, taking a deeper breath, allowing more abundance, and easily letting go any stuck crap, hoocha, whatever you like to call it, in your body. And don't fear letting it go. There's a person underneath all of that junk that you maybe haven't let yourself meet. You're like, but this is who I am. I don't know who I am without this stuff. Maybe it's time to get to know that person. So what does Spirit have to tell us this week? Let's see. And if you're just popping on and you want a card, let me know. There's still time to ask for one. Okay. It's a card for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and for the week. Thank you to Michael for his guidance, watching over us. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday. We got this last week. And some people kind of fear this, but I think it's perfect for us right now. Suspended person. Anytime I get the suspended person, I think that this is time, it's telling me it's time for me to take some time out and be gentle with myself, basically. So a young person hangs upside down in the divine ocean of life. His, her head and arms form the equilateral triangle known as the water triangle. Her usual fiery and exuberant nature in life has been reversed, and she is still. The hands which govern the outside world are behind the back. For now, she is working on the inner faculties. It's that creating that space to process, really. The pants are blue, signifying the quieting of the sexual procreative impulses, or those impulses that stimulate further endeavors and creations involving the outside world. Something that's coming up. if you're codependent, if you're somebody who feels like I have to do the work in this relationship or it's going to fall apart, if you like to overfunction and fix things, or, you know, this is telling you hold space for the other person to meet you where you need them to be. Like, you don't have to be constantly in connecting space, you know, or attempting to make a connection. Sometimes you need to disconnect. And we're talking about that, you know, disconnect in our society, but disconnect in a healthy way. You know, not disconnect like I'm no longer in touch with, you know, others and empathetic to their needs and whatnot. But for right now, I am tending to myself. And that's what this is saying. Tend to yourself. Give yourself that space. Quiet, you know, the sexual procreative impulses, the need to connect, you know, the I am another you kind of feeling, and just go within. The green jacket represents healing and rejuvenation within. Like, really tend to your inner sanctuary, who you are on the inside. The suspended person ruled by Neptune is learning the art of self-realization and inner quietude in order to go beyond the illusion that we as individuals are the managers of the universe. It's that emptying out the energetic vessel that is you, of all that's unwanted, all that other crap not needed, cumulative stress that you've taken on that's not yours, and let it go. She has a sense of the divine wisdom and essence that guides and unites all the cosmos, from molecules to plants, animals, stars, and planets. It's kind of understanding you're one with everything. You can't be disconnected, but if you're so filled up on what you don't want, it's hard to connect with others because you feel overwhelmed with that process, right? So empty out what you don't want, all the toxins, all the negative energy, all that other crap. This is the time to really let go and get one with the universe, basically. This concept cannot be grasped in the mind. Again, that frontal lobe piece, it's got to be in that 98% in the back, that feminine, intuitive, internal processing, that feeling space, right? This concept cannot be grasped in the mind. It is a feeling of non-resistance, allowing, opening, a feeling of recognizing the one essence, the living consciousness of the universe. The suspended person is on a vision quest from which she is gaining the vision to open up to the unity of the cosmos. Usual thinking must be reversed. So if you're very, you know, stuck in inner critic, stuck in judgment, release it. Whatever you're pushing against, it's saying release it, relax. This involves moving from escapism to inspiration. So escapism is, okay, I'm stressed out, so I'm going to go home and drink some wine and zone out and watch Netflix. Versus inspiration, which is, I'm stressed out, so I'm going to take a walk in nature and connect to, you know, the energy of the trees and relax and really rejuvenate myself. So there's the difference. She sees her place in the ever-changing ocean of life and sees what she does in her small realm of life is a part of the flow and motion of the great divine sea. So yeah, everything you're doing on a small scale is going to affect, you know, it's the ripple effect. She realizes that from the state of relaxation, she can be of service to herself and others without the ego stepping in, needing praise and approval. Sometimes that's the best way to, you know, help others, you know, anonymously, and at the same time, not need, you know, you're your own authority. You don't need anyone else's approval to do things. That can be really freeing in many ways, to give up the need for approval of self and approval from others. She's learning to trust in the wisdom of the world, that there's a conscious, wise presence in and amongst all. So see the many ways in which others are displaying kindness. When you start looking for the ways that the states of being that you wish to be in, it starts popping up for you. You know, it's that what is it called? Confirmation bias. So again, if you want to see the all is one essence of the world, you're going to actively look for it and actively put it out there yourself. So kelp, we talked about kelp last week because I think somebody actually pulled suspended person. It's got a softening nature to it. It soothes your throat when it's irritated, soothes coughs, dissolves things like tumors. And tumors, when I talked about this before, tumors are basically a collection of mucus. Sounds kind of gross, but think about what is a pearl inside of a oyster. It's a little piece of an irritant, like a grain of sand or whatever, and the pearl that grows around it is the thing that protects the oyster itself from the irritant, right? And that's kind of the idea of what a tumor does. It's a space that your body created to put all of the mucus in and to collect around an irritant. And most tumors, I think, are energetic in nature. And so kelp helps with soothing that irritation. And I can't convey how important mental irritation adds to inflammation in the body. Anytime I'm allowing myself to give in to irritation, I blow up with sinus stuff. Louise Hay talks about your sinuses. If you get chronic sinusitis, you're annoyed with somebody close to you, basically. So tend to your internal sense. I think what the suspended person is saying is be at peace with yourself. Let your internal little slice of heaven be a place free from irritation and inflammation. And that especially means like energetic thoughts. Because you can do all the cleanses, body cleanses in the world. You can do, eat vegan, you can eat raw foods, you can eat whatever. But if you're still putting in toxic thought, that can create the biggest inflammation in the body regardless. Because everything starts at the energetic level, right? So call on kelp and other herb allies like sea vegetables, marine algae, those sort of things to really calm the internal irritation and inflammation, especially the mental space. Keywords: faith, reversal of thinking, heart above head, heart above head, the other 98%, that heart feeling space, not up here in your head, okay? And then just relax. Most of us who've been through a lot of like heavy stuff, we got to learn to set it down. We don't have to carry it with us every time we're going somewhere, or work it out. Let it go to spirit. Let spirit work it out. So, okay, that's for Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, we haven't done this one in a while. The star. The herb for that is skullcap. I've personally not ever worked with skullcap. I consider the star to be an auspicious sign. The star, ruled by Aquarius, is the key of meditation and hope. The woman's blue garment symbolizes receptivity, inner reflection, and intuition. It's going to be an emotional week, but a sensitive, caring, loving kind of emotional space. Think of Venus in love, Venus is going to have some influence on us here. Her red undergarment and skirt symbolize her vitality and will, which is being guided by her inner wisdom. This symbolism is further exemplified by her sitting on the earth, the objective world, while touching into the flowing waters of the inner life that reveals the answers from divine spirit. So really being in touch with our intuitive nature this week. The lightning bolt that destroyed and humbled the self in, I think it's, what card was that? The Tower, has inspired inner seeking. Basically what it's saying is the painful, uncomfortable truths that we might have just recently gone through have inspired some inner seeking, okay? Now that we've arrived at these new revelations, we can move forward in a more gentle, kind way, okay? If you've been through a lot, you've been through some uncomfortable things, the dark night of the soul, this is the deep sleep afterward, okay? The deep healing sleep afterward. The tower is now the star of inspiration found within our hearts. You know, now that I know what I know, this is what I'm going to do with it. It's visitation from spirit, showing the way to understanding the life power and understanding that is an eternal meditation. To meditate with plants and trees can be very powerful. I absolutely love the energy of trees. Trees are just so loving and caring, and I know other people might be like, wow, that sounds pretty fruity, but, you know, I don't care. I love the way, you know, when I look at trees, they just give off this, like, loving, giving energy. And what do they do for us? They absorb all of our carbon dioxide, and they give us life-giving oxygen. So really call on their energy. Meditate on it, absorb the beauty that they give off. To meditate with plants and trees can be very powerful. This type of meditation can show us the gifts and wisdom that are always being communicated to us by our plant brothers and sisters, if we but open ourselves to their ways. Many of our inspirations may come to us as visions, ideas, goals, dreams, or imaginings, but we must quiet the outward searching mind in order to receive the inner messages. Slow down enough, make the space to empty out the energetic vessel this week. That's really important. Through meditation, we can create a greater peace and stability that will open many doors for us. And I wanted to look up something too. This mentions star, but we've got some moon energy coming up, and I want to verify where we're at in the moon cycle. We're basically waning, we're letting go, we're emptying out. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And you can call on the energy of the moon to help you with this emptying out energy. And when the moon is waning, you can see the stars more because the moon's not so bright in the sky. So this is basically saying skullcap calms the mind and the heart and prepares the way to meditation. Its tonic properties will help the inner channel of inspiration be strengthened so that inner truths can be brought forth and manifested in life. Many times when we have realizations, our bodies and especially our nerves and heart must be prepared to handle the accelerated energy flow. Skullcap seems to have a capacity to strengthen the nerves of the body, strengthen the energetic vessel, basically, to receive the inspiration so that they do not create chaos and turbulence in us due to the changes they engender. Okay, so herb can be taken as an herbal essence to promote a state of meditative living. You can also just meditate on the idea of skullcap. The keywords are need for meditation, time to relax the mind, the rational mind especially, visions, dreams, inspiration, hope. And the affirmation is, with peace and calmness in my heart, I am open to the inspirations that flow within me. Another herbal allies to skullcap, rosemary, lavender, and lady slipper. You're welcome to use those as well. And I'm pretty sure rosemary and lavender are pretty common, so more so than skullcap. Okay, so let's get into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got a lot of major arcana this week. Temperance. It's a big week for us. Like, big stuff going on. Stuff that, like, that has to do with, like, major cycles. Things that happened to you maybe 28 years ago, like 1990. What were you doing in 1990? That's when we're at the Great Saturn Return. Whenever somebody has a Saturn return, it's like a midlife crisis, a great revelation. And because Saturn, rising sign Capricorn, is in my birth chart, my natal chart, people like us with Capricorn rising or any kind of planet ruled by Saturn, or I'm sorry, a sign ruled by Saturn, is really feeling this Saturn return. And of course, I'll be 42, which is the typical age for the midlife crisis. So this is talking about that Saturn return energy, these major changes. So, and Saturn comes around every 28 years. So most of us arrive at the Saturn return somewhere in our mid-years, if it's not at the beginning. So you can also Google Saturn return. Temperance. Let's see what temperance wants us to know. Echinacea. Whenever I think of echinacea, I think of head colds, and I think of, yeah. Hi, Chris, welcome. Yeah, 1990. I know, I was in the throes of middle school angst. I think I was in 8th grade. I was re-experiencing the wound of abandonment. My best friend decided to stop being my best friend. Oh my God, the tragedy. But yeah, and so well, Saturn returns is such a humbling experience. But the lovely thing about Saturn is, and also it can give you these frustrating delays, like things like legal dates, court dates, your registration's out on your car, not little, but like things like the everyday law of the land, law of man, if you will. It's things like that will somehow interrupt you and frustrate you, but at the end you'll see that it was all for like your benefit. When you finally get the lesson, it's like, wow, okay, if it had been just handed to me quickly, I wouldn't have really received it right. So Saturn can be a humbling teacher, but if you think about all the teachers you had in your life, there are certain ones that, like, maybe they were the hardest on you, but you learned the most from them, if that makes sense. So, okay, so echinacea. When I think of echinacea, I think of head colds and like how to bolster your immune system against head colds. And what are head colds? Head colds are like Louise Hay talks about, feeling like you're overwhelmed, feeling like there's just too much going on, you're in a state of chaos, like when you've overscheduled yourself. And what is temperance? When we think of temperance, I think of the prohibition area, and, you know, going without, perhaps, or you said, no, you're in Germany in the Air Force. Yeah, for me, it was a little different. So, temperance, ruled by Sagittarius, is an idealistic and adventurous person. Her blue garment is the yin, watery, intuitive self, and the red belt is the yang, fiery element of action. I already see that this is about balance. You know, if you're in airy-fairy state for too long this week, you know, being the suspended person, off into the stars, meditating, this is probably saying, get out there and do something physical, like be in your body, be in the here and now, enjoy yourself, go roller skating, whatever. Something that brings you back down to earth. The rising sun shows that a new life is unfolding. Its golden color represents divine light and the fire within that lets one dare to honor inner values. So you honor those inner values by letting them come out, walk your inner talk, right? The solar emblem on her brow is the 6th chakra opening. What's the 6th chakra? Your third eye, right? She's receptive to the guidance given to her by those beings who are forever vigilant to the needs of the aspirant. After coming through death, she's ready to experiment with her new life and is working on balancing the polarities within. So, after all the crap you've been through, now what, right? Through trial and error, and with intuition and logic, she will transform energy into artistry. She's the union of the male-female water fire. So like we talk a lot about toxic masculinity and the divine feminine, da, 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 da. We all have that toxic masculinity, men and women. And so it's not like male bashing or anything like that. It's saying we would all be better off if we would value our inner knowing. We would all be better off if we would perhaps reel in our Mars energy, that need to go out and penetrate and get and conquer. And, you know, there's a time and a place for that. If you feel like, you know, you're too airy-fairy, maybe you need some Mars energy to balance you out. But this is what it's saying. Just be mindful of both. You can have water and you can have fire. When you put fire to water, you boil it. You know, when you put water on fire, it goes out. So there's effects, there's balance. So use them together. In her dealing with the public, she is learning how to temper herself through cooperation, compatibility, and communication. She's learning to manage her resources, to organize and plan, and she is aware of what needs healing and is bringing more balance to those areas. So, yes, yeah, becoming more alpha female, but an alpha female has a lot of masculine traits, right? Very decisive, authoritative, a leader. Think of a wolf pack, the alpha male and the alpha female, they're the lead couple, you know. And so if you are prone to being the omega, maybe that alpha energy is balancing for you. So you end up somewhere temperate in the middle. On a spiritual level, echinacea assists in adjusting to changes and in harmonizing polarities. Moreover, the cone top of echinacea creates a spiraling vision if looked at from the top. It's quite mesmerizing, very much like a mandala. This is indicative of the need to recognize the inner steadiness and guidance that is always there for you, even amidst the most disagreeable changes and turbulence. Echinacea builds an inner protection against harmful outside influences. Think about colds and immunity. It builds immunity. It's telling you, this card is basically telling you, build immunity to all of the stress and chaos around you. And how do we do that? Anchoring activities, sacred daily practices. Echinacea has been used to clear infections and poisons from the body. Again, energetic hygiene. It bolsters the surface immune system, aids in the production of white blood cells, and is used for all bacterial and viral inflammations. This is a safe and effective herb that can be used on adults and children. For acute ailments, a dropperful of the tincture of echinacea or 2 capsules can be taken every hour or 2. You can have echinacea tea, but in my opinion, it's best to take it as a preventative thing. You know, if you feel like you're coming down with a cold, drink the hell out of some echinacea tea, and then you'll feel better. You know, you let your body nip it in the bud before you get a full-blown cold. Although echinacea does not destroy friendly bacteria in the intestines, it's best to take some acidophilus, something like that, yogurt, miso, something fermented to help balance it out. Because again, it's all about balance. And I don't know if you're familiar, when you drink the tea, it kind of reminds me of like licorice. It gives you like a weird tingling sensation on your tongue. Like true licorice, not like Twizzlers licorice, but like real licorice. So just keep that in mind. But that subsides after a few moments. It's just a natural phenomenon of the plant chemistry. Keywords: idealism, enthusiasm for new beginnings, blending of opposites. I like that, blending of opposites. If we ever didn't need blending of opposites in our current culture and social media and politics, this is saying find some middle ground, essentially. Through artistry and daring, I create new visions for myself. Wow, right? Chaparral and honeysuckle flowers are herbal allies. And I love the smell of honeysuckle flowers. I don't know about you. Okay, so one more sip of water. Where do I get my tea? It's those, I think it's called modern medicinals. Usually from like health food store like Sprouts Farmers Market or Whole Foods. Um, Really, I don't go out of my way to buy it, but I think there's a place called Mountain Rose Herbs, and there's Bulk Apothecary online, and they sell some herbs too that are really good. Okay, so this is the overarching energy for the week. 4 of Wands, fennel seed. Which, by the way, I think taste of fennel sometimes gets added to licorice. 4 of Wands, some fire energy. In many ancient traditions, it is the angels or devas who concern themselves with the maintenance of all existence in life. Here we find 2 of these experiencing the joy of a day's completion. I'm being reminded to tell you guys, we don't have to do everything. Call upon your angels. Like, that's why Archangel Michael wanted me to talk to you guys. It was like, hello, we're here, use us. You don't need to do everything. Let us handle some things that you may not be able to do. Implicit in the scene is the subtle need to release the tension and pressure involved in completing a task and to experiment or to experience completion before going on to the next task. In this whole, I have a great thing called, what is it? Overcoming Energetic Blocks with the Moon Cycles. And I think it was a free gift that I put out, and I don't know if I still have it available. If you like it, I can send it to you. And in that, I was talking about emptying out your energetic vessel and getting into a place of stillness before you fill up with what is wanted. And I think it's the same. Just be cognizant of being fully emptied out before you get so, on to the next thing. And get in the habit of letting, I struggle with this. This is part of that self-regulation, not tending to when you're stressed or whatever, saying, it's been a really hard week, lots of emotional stress, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't take on all this activity and cancel my whole weekend, even though I'm in go, 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 go energy, and this feels counterintuitive. This is really just saying, learn how, when you know you're really full up, realize and recognize it's time to empty out of negative energy, toxins, whatever, and then fully allow yourself to completely empty out and recover, essentially, before you start on to the next thing. So implicit in this scene is the subtle need to release the tension and pressure involved in completing a task and to experience completion before going on to the next task. How do we do this? Making time to be together and play is one important method. I think this is like speaking to me. Make time to be together and play. I think I have some friends who are here who we always talk about getting together, but we don't get a chance to do it because we don't make the time to get together and play. If you don't make the time, it's not going to happen. You got to put the brakes on. You got to let it be a value to stop and play. It's important. And I think that was kind of this pressure I had this weekend where, we visited a little town called New Braunfels, but while we were there, I had my little boys with me, I have a 14-year-old with me and a 6-year-old and my partner, and we went to eat. And then right after that, it was we have to go do this part-time doing security. And I was trying to convey to my partner, this is all well and good, but we need to give ourselves time to stop working so much and really be off, totally off, not kind of off and then working a part-time. It's this concept. So I think this energy is coming up to really playtime. Okay, get that going. Most of us who are really much in that masculine doing energy, playing is honoring the feminine. It's opening up and allowing, relaxing and enjoying. It's the art of doing nothing. That's stillness, right? These are the joyful things. you can create this space and it can be there despite having stress on the mind, despite having all of these responsibilities that you feel that you need to tend to. You can suspend all of them and create this space for that, okay? So making time to be together and play is one important method, which also teaches the value of cooperation and prevents the dangers of egocentricity and over-seriousness. Well, we're talking about that in temperance, right? We don't need to be, you know, to value cooperation, value working with other people, value another person's perspective, right? Another message of this card is to allow talents and skills to flow and be shared. Be unafraid to live up to your potential. I love that. Be unafraid to live up to your potential. Allow your inner light to shine through. You know, this little light of mine's gonna shine, gonna shine. Anyway, so of course, and we had the star this week, so of course. I don't know if you guys remember that song. We all need to play. Yes, Jessica, we need to play. Chris, we need to play. We all need to play. I consider this play, this card reading thing for me, it's play for me. So fennel will allow a greater sense of groundedness and joy to permeate one's being. Rub fennel oil on the soles of the feet and dance to the rhythms of life. As always, I always remember anytime I'd go eat Indian food with my dad, they would have these little candy-covered fennel seeds, and it's great for digestion. Fennel stalks and roots are eaten as a food like celery. Taken as a tea, the seeds are commonly used for stimulating appetite and digestion and are used to eliminate gas. So that's lovely. The seeds are also useful to relieve a variety of abdominal pains, including menstrual cramps. I think it's like letting these just relax that energy that can't let things flow. Carry fennel seeds in a pouch and smell them during the day so that as you breathe in their message. The oil has like a real licoricey smell to it. It's good to take after meals, first thing in the morning to help regulate digestion. Good for gynecological complaints and an expectorant for coughs. So keywords are completion, pleasant thoughts, moving on to the next cycle, dancing and movement with life, comradeship, shared success. So if you've gone through like some tough times, you know, that's what makes, you know, when you think about you've been with a partner for a while and you guys went through some like crazy crap, and after the fact it makes you just love them more because they were there with you during these tough times. So to share those good times afterward is so much sweeter, really. So I feel greater self-confidence by quietly recognizing my many gifts and accomplishments. Anise seed, star anise, and cumin seed are also herbal allies. So wonderful. Okay, well, I have now, Chris, I know you popped on late. Did you want to get a card, an animal card or a tarot card? Let me know, because I'm going to pull a tarot card for Karen, Jessica, and Shanna. And if you'd like a tarot card, I will pull one for you, or an animal card. You let me know. So I'm going to pull an animal card for Bridget. These aside. Okay. I'll pull an animal card for you, along with Bridget. So, Spirit, let me know, what does Karen, Jessica, and Shanna need to know this week? This one's for Karen, Jessica, and Shanna. So for Karen, we got the Seven of Swords, Wood Betony. I've never worked with wood betony before. I don't think I've drawn the Seven of Swords. I don't know if you can see that. The writing up there is really fine. 5 swords flying through the air indicate thoughts that are ungrounded, elusive, and changeable. Only some of the information is at hand, thus 2 swords are on the ground. No person is visible, which indicates that confrontations are being avoided or that there are hidden intentions. There can be a sense that things are too changeable and confusing to bother about. It may be a good time to do some research or to collect knowledge and ideas from others with regards to the scene at hand. I'm getting a sense like this isn't the time for you to take action. This is time for you to sort of sit back, maybe let some things play out. You be in that peaceful, centered space, tend to yourself, and maybe some situation is going to work its way out on its own. Lay your cards on the table and be honest with yourself and with others. Let spirit do the rest. Be willing to reveal your true intentions or to find out and listen to what others' true intentions are. Situations like this can wear on the nerves until it is clear as to what is going on. Sort of let yourself be in limbo and let that be okay. Wood betony is a plant that has a colorful past and has been said to have the virtue of protecting against evil spirits. You can call upon this energy to allow spirit to do the work and prevent negative influences, if you will. It was planted in churchyards and worn as an amulet or charm to protect from fearful visions and drive away devils and despair. So while you're in limbo, use it to not let you jump to wrongful conclusions or negative conclusions or worry too much about things. Betony can be employed in this fashion again to ease the mental anguish and fearful visions, like, catastrophizing, one might have when dealing with a Seven of Swords situation internally or externally. I've learned to really be in that space where you let spirit do the work. And I almost even imagine like literally letting it go. Like, okay, this situation feels like, when you drop a stone in the water and you watch the ripple go away, it's like removing that tense energy from your body. You let, okay, I'm letting spirit handle this. I've let go of the burden and I feel that ripple of spirit taking it away, and it's all good. It's all good. So medicinally, wood betony is used as a nervine with special action for diseases of the head. So if you have like anxiety, hysteria, nervousness, and insomnia, it's often combined with other nervine herbs like boiled milk, warm milk. Keywords: not all things are being revealed. Need to be honest with yourself and others. Research needed in order to find out what's going on. And with a peaceful heart, I gather information and truth for my plans and goals. And other herbal allies are passion flower and skullcap, and we have skullcap at the middle of the week. So maybe sometime around the middle of the week. That was the star card. The middle of the week, we can call upon skullcap to help you with this process of being okay with inaction, being okay with letting spirit handle something, a situation that's kind of out of your hands maybe. You've already put your cards on the table, you've already said what you need to say about it, and it's going to be up to spirit to work its magic, basically. So, that was for Karen. And now Jessica, the Two of Cups, Uva ursi. This is one of my favorite herbs that I used to use when I had a whole big trunk full of them. And I think my parents probably still have that trunk up in their attic. I used to carry it in mason jars, just like you would at an herbal store or would, a health food store. They store a lot of theirs in the mason jars. And I used to keep Uva ursi all the time. It kind of reminds me, it's like a hard leaf, but I'd make a tea out of it. And it was really bitter, and it didn't taste good, so yeah. but I would use it for PMS, basically. Two of Cups. A man and a woman face each other as equals. The caduceus between them indicates that theirs is a healing relationship. Let me say this. I heard the phrase earlier, relationship trauma is healed by relationships. So if you've been hurt by somebody else, the only way to like heal that is through right relationship with others. So in other words, you know, maybe trust or something to that effect, maybe something in your past, I don't know. Trust that somebody else can help you play out a better aspect of relationship for you. So the cups are filled with the accumulated experiences of their wisdom and knowledge. The card represents the highest possible union of two souls becoming one. Like, this is the ultimate, right? This is what we're looking for, that connection with other, right? That I am another you energy. There is no me, there is no you, there's just us. You know, when we're in the state of disconnect, this is the pain of being without this, the sense of union. Here we are made aware of the need of becoming strong within oneself before forming an intimate relationship with another. Because the stronger you are with yourself, the stronger your connection you can have with the other, right? While such strength can be found within a relationship, the process is frequently made complicated by the disadvantages of codependency. I just talked about that. Codependency is like, I'm realizing I've had like quite a bit of codependency with my mother growing up, and that altered the way I looked at and appreciated intimacy. To me, when you're codependent with somebody else, tending to their needs can become exhausting and you don't enjoy them. Believe it or not, my mother had a book on herbal medicine, and I don't know where she got it because she really wasn't that into herbs and stuff. Somebody gifted it to her, and I just sort of confiscated it or absconded with it. And I got my interest in herbs from Clan of the Cave Bear books. The main character, Ayla, was a human Homo sapien girl living with Neanderthals, and the Neanderthal medicine woman, I'm trying to remember her name, taught her how to be a medicine woman in the tribe, which also kind of got me interested in shamanism as well, because the characters, they call them Zelendonis, or like she who is one with the mother, back before you know, the patriarchy. Women, the divine feminine, the big earth motherly stout woman, was considered closest to God, goddess, you know, Mother Earth. And so I was very interested in shamanism and herbal medicine and all that as a young girl, probably 16, 17 years old. From reading all these books, I was really fascinated with it, which is funny because well, anyway, I'll get into the next card in a minute here. Let me finish up here with Jessica's card. And I see, Karen, I'm glad that card worked for you. That was, sometimes Spirit just tells you stuff and I don't know why. Okay, so codependency. This is for Jessica. I was in like major denial about my own codependency. When you're codependent, you have a hard time with sense of self. And as soon as you get in a relationship, it's like you give up all self for the other. And after a while, then it turns into this whole kind of like rubber band aspect of like, no, I need to get myself back. I've stretched myself so much away from who I am to accommodate you. Now it's like, get the hell away from me. I need my own space kind of thing. It's I hate you, don't leave me kind of thing. That's an extreme. But or giving up all self to care for other people's needs at your own detriment.
This imbalance between two souls is often expressed in increased conflict and stress, necessitating more individual work on issues of self-esteem. Maybe whenever you assert a sense of self, there tends to be some conflict because right now the energy you're in, you've established you've established and attract relationships that only work if you're denying self. And I am going through that a little bit myself. And so when I'm trying to assert self without alienating the other, it is learning that right relationship with self. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the only way you heal relationship trauma is through relationships. And so I'm healing that codependency with my mother through my partner right now. Like, it is a hard balance. It really is. It's like, I want to be with you and I don't want to alienate you, but sometimes I gotta be me, right? Because eventually it's going to come out. You're going to eventually be like, no, I did not want to go to that restaurant. I wanted to go to this one. And, you know, it turns into like this big argument. You know, it seems like a small little detail, and it becomes a petty, big argument. But it's not really about the restaurant. It's about asserting a sense of self. And if you are in an environment where you weren't allowed to be yourself very often, you were taught at a young age maybe that the way my primary caretaker will take care of me is if I forget about who I am and take care of them. It's really like ingrained codependent energy. So anyways, this cup is telling you to be, this Two of Cups card is telling you to be mindful of this interaction. You can be one, but also assert a sense of self. And that's the greatest sense of balance, okay? So, Uva Ursi, the sacred herb of Mount Shasta, symbolizes the purifying stream of love. We actualize our love energy when it flows to another through intentional acts of caring. Uva Ursi clears blockages and irritations one feels toward another, and thereby awakens one to the divine presence in all. The herb serves to cleanse and purify the genitourinary tract, which is where we connect to our partner in sexual union. Thus, it's most often used to treat bladder and urinary tract infections. And mind you, when you're pissed off, you hold anger in your bladder. That's where most people, if you're irritated with your partner, romantic irritation, women get chronic urinary tract infections because we tend to hold in this irritation for our partner. And that's where it comes from. So Uva Ursi is good at cleaning that out. Also helps normalize blood pressure by regulating fluid metabolism, like if you're really bloated. Yeah. So, yeah, Bridget, you said you've been there, done that too. Yeah, I think that codependency is a result of toxic masculinity. I mean, if you look at anything on narcissism and codependency, frankly, I don't think either one is bad. It just is, okay? A narcissist and a codependent only did what they needed to do to form a sense of self or to form a sense of survival. And it's just how you decided to play out. Like my partner, I think he can be kind of narcissistic, but that's how he maintains, that's how he, as Lisa A. Romano, of popular life coach who talks about narcissism and codependency quite a bit, that's how we hold on to ourselves. Someone chose the narcissistic path, someone chose the codependent path. That's how we learn to hold on to ourselves. And when I say hold on to ourselves, meaning maintain that sense of self. Well, I feel right in my world when I play out this sort of dysfunctional energy pattern. That's what we learned as kids, that the adults around us would take care of us and keep us alive. That's how we behaved, you know, and we were rewarded for it at some point, and it worked for us to a certain point. And now as we get older, you know, it's not working anymore. We're realizing, no, there's some missing aspects here. So anyways, the leaves and berries can be worn as a love talisman, and the essence can be taken 3 times daily to awaken one to the healing lessons indicated by this card. Manzanita may be substituted for Uva Ursi, as it is the same genus and has similar but somewhat harsher properties. Medicinally, a standard infusion is made by pouring boiling water over the leaves and steeping the mix until it is cool enough to drink. 1 cup is taken 3 times per day. This herb should not be boiled, otherwise it will lose its potency. The keywords are relationship, harmonious union, combining strengths, coming together, acceptance of another, focusing on positive qualities rather than differences. I recognize the spiritual strength and power that is created from our union. Yes. So that was for Jessica. And now we have a card for Shayna. Some more fire energy. Sassafras. 8 staves fly swiftly toward an undefined target. The card represents the need for focused, swift, and efficient action to deal with the problems at hand. Goal in sight, we are presented with a variety of diversions and problems, perhaps as a test of our resolve to continue the quest. The absence of a human figure on the card suggests that at such times of crisis, we may temporarily lose our sense of self. Something about the sense of self is going on this week for a bunch of us, okay? It may be time for quick action and clarity in communication. Be willing to express your ideas and to break through the blockages that present themselves to you. Work at establishing a greater communication between the higher sublime self and the beings and angels that guide you, for you may find greater clarity as to what is to be done next. So, it's really important to go within, get that connection, empty out the energetic vessel so that you can fill up with the right, not right, that's not the right word, accurate communication between you and, your spirit guides. So sassafras opens up the 5th chakra, your throat, and allows easier communication of ideas. It enhances the connection you have with angelic beings that watch over you. Sassafras affords you greater psychic protection against the negative effects of external harassment and attack. So it will ward off or lessen the blows of conflicting forces. So if you got stuff going on where, like you're trying to assert yourself, your sense of self, and other people are really arguing against it, or you're afraid to assert your sense of self and communicate your truth, call on sassafras for this. Sassafras is useful both as a circulatory stimulant and as a detoxifying blood purifier. It has warming energy and is useful to induce perspiration for the early treatment of colds, flus, and coughs. Just like echinacea. There is a sense of bolstering your immunity before dealing with this stuff. It's kind of the idea of like giving yourself self-supporting activities so that you can sustain unnumbing or coming to uncomfortable truths or making, asserting yourself if you need to, kind of come to a confrontation about something. You don't just do it without preparation, basically. Support yourself in the process. One of the ingredients of sassafras, saffrole, has been found to have carcinogenic tendencies. However, it's naturally found in a variety of other common herbs, such as basil. For this reason, sassafras has been banned in the United States Food and Drug Administration, but I don't really care what they think, because I think they allow many carcinogenic things. Roundup, anyone? So it seems, however, that the saffrole and sassafras, while being capable of extraction in alcohol, does not extract in water, making it safe for use in herb tea. So the herbal essence may be used as needed, and the talisman may be worn to bring about spiritual results. It may be a good idea to meditate while taking the herb and gently ask for the guidance that you seek. Keep yourself open for whatever communication is given to you and write it down. This may help you establish the communication needed between the sublime self and the outer manifested self. The goals will be clearer and the directions more defined. Medicinally, sassafras has been and continues to be regarded as a common healthful folk beverage and food spice by the mountain folk of the Appalachian and Ozark ranges. Further, the areas where it has been traditionally consumed have noticeably lower rates of cancer. Sassafras tea is made by steeping a teaspoon to the tablespoon of the root bark in a cup of boiling water. I wonder if that has due to the homeopathic tendencies, like hair off the dog's back. Keywords, lots of ideas coming in at once. Communication needed, rapid developments, new ideas about philosophies on life, making fast decisions. Your affirmation is, I respond to challenges with decisive clarity and vigor. Decisive clarity and vigor. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull an animal card for Bridget and one for Chris. You know, it's funny to me, but birds, the winged ones, they like to talk to me as messengers. And I had literally on the road the other day, a chicken come running out, only in Texas, right? A foghorn breed chicken, the white kind, with the big red gobble gobble. Your mama made you sassafras tea? How does it taste? To me, I confuse it with sarsaparilla a lot. And is it real spicy? I don't believe I've ever had sassafras tea. But anyway, so chickens, a lone chicken was, and this is funny, it was trying to cross the road to get to the other side. And the chicken darted out in front of me. And I wonder what, I think it was trying to tell me to stop running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So this is how power animals, animal messengers, they kind of work for you. And only in Texas, I think. It literally looked like a Purdue chicken, like the big white ones, a leghorn breed, foghorn leghorn. Remember foghorn leghorn on the Looney Tunes? Yeah. Any other animal encounters you've all had this week? And as I pull the animal cards, one for Bridget and one for Chris. Okay, this one's for Bridget. And this one is for Chris. I'm super excited because I haven't pulled these two cards before, and we get to talk about something new. All right. This one's for Bridget. And this is exactly what we've been talking about. Yeah, snake is showing up, cardinals. Prairie dog, retreat, right? What have we been talking about? Retreat, go within. Prairie dog calls me when it's time to rest. This is very clear for you this week, Bridget. It's time to rest. When it's time to honor the internal quest. This is all about the suspended person. And I go into retreat so I may see a way to replenish the potential in me. Couldn't be more perfect. Very much in alignment. Okay. Prairie dog medicine teaches that strength and inspiration can be found by retreating into the stillness that quiets the mind. You're getting this message more than once this week, okay? So it's here for you for a reason. The strength of this medicine is also knowing when and how to replenish your life force. Prairie dog medicine people tend to seek self-empowerment in silence and inactivity, where they can access dreams and visions without the intrusions of worldly chaos. When they re-enter the world, they are profound and powerful anchors, I love that word, of calm resolve amid life's storms. The medicine of prairie dog is applicable to all of the Marmot tribe, which includes the ground squirrel clan, the gopher clan, the woodchuck clan, and the groundhog clan. Just as Native American warriors knew when to charge forward and when to become invisible, the Marmot tribe knows how and when to retreat. The prairie dog runs for the tunnels when a predator is on its trail. In the winter, it conserves energy by hibernating during the scarce time of the cold moons. If prairie dog has surfaced in your cards today, it may be a warning that your body's fuel gauge is running low. You might need a day of silence or retreat from regular activities before you become too exhausted to carry on. Have you put your basic needs at the bottom of the to-do list? Burning the candle at both ends may weaken the punch you can normally pack when tackling the tasks at hand. Take a much-needed break before you crash and burn. Prairie Dog teaches you that in order to access gifts of inspiration and renewal, you must be at peace with yourself and rested enough to recognize the blessings being offered. Like, let yourself be still. Yeah. And then if you have been battling a situation without gaining ground, Prairie Dog reminds you that pushing too hard can create a resistance that does not allow for interaction. Take a break. Give it a rest. Rest is the word for you this week. After a comfortable and relaxed time, you can return with a fresh perspective. In the meantime, the dynamics of the situation may have changed because your retreat allows the present challenge to work itself out. There is ample strength available if you quit pushing and go into the flow. Prairie Dog says its tunnels run both ways. Now it is time to choose the backdoor exit for some rest and relaxation. I don't know that there's a whole lot more to add because really you're getting the message. It's time to chill out. And by the time you chill out and you come back, you're going to have like way more perspective. It's not time to do anything. It's time to let the universe handle it. So Karen says he does that for me too. Yeah, snake for me is a warning. Beware. He does that for me too. Lately, showing up as I shed old skin and belief system effect and peeling without being in the sun. Interesting. Yeah, I used to have a lot of negative connotation about snake, and I'm pretty sure if I saw one in person now, I'd probably still not be very friendly. But snake has a lot of regenerative energy around it. So Chris, this card's for you. And I think you'll enjoy this. I'm curious to hear what it has to say because I've never pulled this card before. Dun, dun, dun. Are you anxiously waiting? The bat. And it symbolizes rebirth. Sacred bat flew to me from the darkness of the cave. Womb-like reflections, answers it gave. Birth, death, rebirth, cycles of the whole, never-ending, just eclipsed the journey of the soul. Kind of like the void, the great void from the east, right? Steeped in the mystery of Mesoamerican tribal ritual is the legend of Bat. Akin to the ancient Buddhist belief in reincarnation in Central America, Bat is the symbol of rebirth. The bat has, for centuries, been treasured medicine of the Aztec, Toltec, Tolucan, and Mayan peoples. Bat embraces the idea of shamanistic death. The ritual death of the healer is steeped in secrets and highly involved initiation rites. Shaman death is the symbolic death of the initiate to the old ways of life and personal identity. The initiation that brings the right to heal and to be called shaman is necessarily preceded by ritual death. Most of these rituals are brutally hard on the body, mind, and spirit. In light of today's standards, it can be very difficult to find a person who can take the abuse and come through it with their balance intact. The basic idea of ancient initiations was to break down all the former notions of self that were held by the shaman to be. This could entail brutal tests of physical strength and psychic ability, and having every emotional button pushed hard. Taunting and spitting on the initiate was common, and taught him or her to endure the duress with humility and fortitude. Kind of like, the Passion of the Christ, people just taunted the shit out of him, and he still, allowed himself to be forsaken. He literally, a spiritual death, the shamanistic death. Think about that. Jesus' crucifixion. The final initiation step was to be buried in the earth for one day and to be, Christ is risen, and to be reborn without the former ego in the morning. This ritual is very similar to the Night of Fear practiced by natives of Turtle Island. In this ritual, the shaman-to-be is sent to a certain location to dig his or her grave and spend the night in the womb of Mother Earth totally alone, with the mouth of the grave covered by a blanket. Darkness and the sound of animals prowling quickly confronts the initiate with his or her fears. As the darkness of the grave has its place in this ritual, so does the cave of Bat. Hanging upside down is a symbol for learning to transpose your formal self into a newborn being. This is also the position the babies assume when they enter the world from the womb of woman. If Bat has appeared in your cards today, it symbolizes the need for a ritualistic death of some way of life that no longer suits your new growth pattern. This can mean a time of letting go of old habits and of assuming the position in life that prepares you for rebirth, or in some cases, initiation. In every case, Bat signals rebirth of some part of yourself or the death of an old pattern. If you resist your destiny, it can be a long, drawn-out, or painful death. The universe is always asking you to grow and become your future. To do so, you must die the shaman's death. You have something that you know you need to do, and you haven't done it because you're afraid. But you need to do it. Something is there. You know you need to do it. You've been not doing it because you're afraid, but it's time. Okay. So there you have it. Oh, yes. Miss Shelley, let me get you an animal card. Glad you caught us just in time. That was our last one. I'm glad it's right on where you're at. And Krista, you love bats. Yeah, they're interesting creatures, kind of like snakes, somewhat feared and maligned for some odd reason. I don't know. Maybe the vampire bat mythology. We don't understand them. Okay, this is for Shelley. This is a good week. Like, we got some powerful animal medicine that we have never drawn before. And, oof, I'm so excited to do this one. Really powerful energy here. The Black Panther. I got chills. Ooh. Embracing the unknown. O midnight jaguar, wash me with your courage and steal me with your grace, so I may know the value of the void of time and space. Teach me all your lessons, how to face the dark unknown, then let me bravely leap into the shadows all alone. Black Panther slid silently through the bayou, her golden eyes catching the starlight, midnight fur soundlessly rippling over her stealthy sinew, muscle, and bone. She and her mate were the last of their kind in the homeland of the Caddo tribe. The Panther clan had been honored and respected by the red people of the bayou for hundreds of years. Black Panther's medicine allows human beings to face their fears and dark behaviors, exploring those internal shadowy aspects of being. You're going to be doing some shadow work coming up. But you got this powerful energy on your side, so you're good. Most of Panther's tribe had been stalked and killed by the other two-leggeds, who had come across the big water and who feared their own dark natures. Those people were in need of her healing medicine. That night, the Black Panther stood at the edge of the swampy bayou, sniffing at the night, trying to catch the scent of any newcomer willing to go beyond their fears and trust her medicine. By the way, I don't know if this is true, but where we are here in Texas, along the bayou in East Texas, they still have some Black Panthers in the bayous. And when they make their howl, they don't really howl. They sound like a woman screaming in the night. It's kind of eerie. So, at night, the Black Panther stood at the edge of the swampy bayou, sniffing at the night, trying to catch the scent of any newcomer willing to go beyond their fears and trust her medicine. No, not on this night, but she would patiently wait for one courageous explorer of the healing potential found in the dark of the unknown. The cattle people called her clan the Black Panther, and her tribe was known as the Midnight or Black Jaguar to the Maya. The color black is honored by the red race. Darkness is the place for seeking and finding answers, for accepting healings, and for accessing the hidden light of truth. Black Panther teaches us, though, through our dreams, to delve into the places within ourselves that need healing. She shows us how to trace the unfamiliar territory found on the journey of self-discovery and to fearlessly face the unknown. If the Black Panther has appeared today, it may be telling you not to worry about the future. Trust that you are not supposed to mentally figure it out at this time. You may need to confront fears of the unknown, of being less than you truly are, or an inability to simply be, that suspended self. Be still. Let go of fears that appear as obstacles or barriers. Embrace the unknown and flow with the mystery that is unfolding in your life. The next step may be leaping empty-handed into the void with implicit trust. In the stillness of the void, find the will to avoid foolish interruptions, going deeper into your own self-discovery and healing process. Here you will discover Black Panther's unexpected blessings. Yes. It's the last card in the animal deck. I think it's like kind of mature energy. Not everyone can do shadow work and really come out on the other side of it. So really powerful energy this week. We got some good power animals to help us. So yes, the big cats are so beautiful. They have so much to teach us. Yeah, panthers are amazing. And I think they're endangered now. You know, all the big cats are endangered. We need to take care of them. We need to do better for them. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. And I thank Spirit for joining us and giving us this wisdom in this sacred space. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you guys next week. Just keep in mind, be still, enjoy Spirit's stillness, and don't fear the unknown. So that's it for this week, and bye for now. Love you all. Mwah.